right there. See that? I don't want to change the way the dovetail fits, do anything to jeopardize that. This side's pretty well clean. There's a little bit, but we got to remove a whole bunch of material from this anyway, so no problems there with that. Can't find it that way. Let me get this side first. There's a whole lot of glue. I don't know if you can see this or not. Right in this very corner, right here. See that? It looks like a bunch of putty or some kind of crap in there to me. I don't know what that is. Bondo. It looks like Bondo, baby. Somebody's Bondoed the thing. Yeah, these old guitars like this old, homemade, and you know, you never know what you're going to find, man. We could have found a golden ring in there, as far as that goes. There's some good glue removal. I hope we're still in the camera. Yes, we are. Very important you get this old glue off of here before you ever go trying to glue the neck back on it, because that old glue, you know, it already did its job. It's time for it to move on and let the new glue in. Yeah, I don't know what to make about that thing being cracked. You know, now that I look at this, check this out. You see where the... Yeah, let me get my bearings here a little bit. Right here's the crack, okay? Right there is the crack. See that? See them? Now if you turn that around and look, right here the crack is. I'm trying to keep in the camera. Turn it around like this, that crack comes over. It looks like this whole entire part right here. If you can see that, it's darker. Someone may have cut that out and inserted it into this neck. That's sure what it looks like if you're seeing the same thing I am, and that's where all that Bondo work is that I'm seeing here. See, there's a lot of Bondo down in this corner down in here. You see it? And this piece of wood is a different color, right where the crack is. Right there's where the crack starts, and that's where the color difference begins. Someone has touched up the tenon in this thing. They really touched that up, done some work there to it. Now I see some more glue that's got to come off right up against the, right here. Yeah, man. See that? See all that old glue? I should put this thing in a vise probably and clamp the neck down so I can work on it, but I just want to get the old glue off of it right now. I will clamp it down when we start fitting the thing in and doing the final adjustments. But that's a long ways off. I mean, like I said, this thing got to dry out at least 1 week, and I think maybe I'll safely give it 2 weeks just to dry out before we start fitting the thing up, because you know, once it goes back together, it's hopefully going to stay together for many years to come, and it's going to do it right, you know, while we got it apart. That is a weird looking, some weird things have gone on here inside this dovetail joint. Very much weird. That is really strange. Let me show you something else too. Okay, here we are again. Here's the crack in the tenon right there. See them? You can see the wood changes color right there all the way up to right here. And it goes back to the old wood again. You can see all this is a different color. Strange enough, there's a cut right here. I thought my drill bit may have did this. I thought. Yeah, I'm still kind of thinking that's what it was. This is probably, if you can see that, I can't see the camera for shit. I think you can see that right there. And I'm pretty sure that's where my drill bit came in, and I'm pretty sure that's the only place that allowed steam to get into this thing enough to break it loose. Because like I say, on the guitar, I drilled under the 13th fret in this case, since it's got a 12th fret body joint. Went one fret past the body, drilled in, straight down, and it didn't hit the pocket like it normally does. And I'm thinking, you know, right there's really where the bit should have came in at. Not at an angle like that and then pop through there. But it's okay that it did do that, because it probably wouldn't have heated the glue up right if it had not got steam inside of here. So it worked out okay, but I just hate to see that crack like that. I'm going to glue this all up later after the thing dries out. Stabilize all that. There's where the T-bar, I'm assuming. Let me look in there and see if I can see. Yeah, there's definitely a, I can't tell if it's a T-bar or not, but maybe you can even see it. There's definitely something down in that hole. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's metal in them there holes. So they are. Metal reinforced K guitar neck. So anyways, there you go, folks. Dovetail joint at its worst, you might say. But we got the neck off of it. Check this out. We didn't have any chip away at all from that when I pulled that fret out. And like I say, this has got those little soft brass frets in it. I'm surprised they're not worn out, but they're just barely show a little bit of wear. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, I think you can. Not bad at all for the fret wear for, you know, a neck this old. However old it is. It's a K. It's got to be really old. It doesn't have any name or anything up here on it. I don't see any kind of design or anything. Well, somebody really sprayed that sucker heavy. Didn't sand it or anything. They just sprayed it and let it go, it looks like. No leveling or anything like that. So, that's all we can do today, folks. I got a major mess here to sweep up. And I'll bring you right back. Hold on. Hold on. No, I'm not using a mask. I've got them, but I don't use them when I'm out here. The air is moving through here pretty good. I've already put a couple coats on that. This will be the third one. And I'm putting them on very light. This is just a clear coat, lacquer, sanding lacquer. And, yeah, touch that up a little bit along here where those bubbles were. It's not going to look, you're going to be able to see it. It's not going to be perfect with a can. I mean, you know, like I say, I've got my air gun blew up. I've got two more, and I don't trust them that much. So, you know, I've used this for a can for a touch-up. It's okay to touch up, but I wouldn't want to refinish a guitar with these, with can sprays. Anyways, I'll zoom you in a little bit closer here, so maybe you can see what's going on. Maybe I will, maybe not. Yeah, I'll give you an idea. Anyways, I'm going to put like I say, very thin coats. There's two on there now. This will be the third. So here we go. Get my spectacles in place. We're going to call that good for right now. So there you go, folks. Neck reset is underway. And like I say, we're just going to lay this baby up now, let it dry out for at the very least 1 week. And you know, because you can't, like I started to say, I don't know if I ever really said it all or not, when you put the steam in there like that, all that heat and steam going in here on this bare wood that's unprotected, that wood absorbs a lot of that, and that causes the wood to swell up. It causes it to get bigger. And this wood is really, really dry here. I can tell because I never had any water at all run inside the guitar. I mean, I could bring a light over here and show you, but there's just no sign of any water whatsoever. None. I mean, zero, none getting inside. No water got inside of the body at all. So, you know, a lot of steam, a lot of water went somewhere. Where did it go? Well, it went into this bare, unprotected wood. Right down into the joint. That's where it went. So, like I say, we got to set this guitar aside and give it about a week. I'll come back and check it. And once I'm satisfied that it's dried out enough, we will start to fit the neck on it in its new angle and progress forward from there. In between now and that point, like I mentioned before, I'll probably start on that Blue Ridge guitar because, you know, there's no need just sitting and waiting on this one to dry out when I could be fixing it. Now this guitar came in ahead of the Blue Ridge, but there, like I say, I'm held up on this one right now. You know, I'm held up on it. There's nothing I can really do until this wood dries out. You don't want to put that thing together and the wood swelled up and fat and then it dry out after you put it together and the glue sets up and all that jazz. You don't want that to happen. That is not good. You never want to do that. So the wood needs to dry out for a week, maybe 2 weeks even. Today is, well, it's St. Patrick's Day. That's why I got on so much green. Actually, I think yesterday was St. Patrick's Day. I don't know. I can't remember too good. I'll show you this one more time before we go. There's a good, better shot of the dovetail joint. I think this is where my drill bit came through, and that's what allowed steam to get inside here. Otherwise, it wouldn't have worked right, if at all. But you know, I got one hole counted, and it did work. So, and it didn't run any water inside the guitar, so I'm not complaining about that. I am kind of complaining about this a little bit. That's a huge split right there. If you can see that right here, that is a huge gaping opening in that in the wood right there, and it's a different color from there up to right here. And you can see someone has patched that tenon up like that to make it fit. And there's a bunch of shims inside the guitar too, inside the joint. Cue balls here, just made the scene. But anyways, there's your last look at it. Like I say, this is all swelled up now. It won't even go down in there, it's so tight. Because it's swelled up so much, see, it won't even go back down in or even come close. That's a good 1/4 of an inch or more. It needs to go down to set down in there. And it's because the wood is all swelled up and out of shape. So we're just going to lay it down, let it dry out for a week, come back and check it, and start fitting it up and getting a new angle on the neck, and reset the neck back at the proper angle to get the action down where it should be. No more shaving from the bridge. He's really cut a lot off of that bridge. You can probably see it a lot better now. Where he's it's sanded, it's not flat across the top, it's kind of sloped back over the back here, if you can see that. I don't know how's the best way to hold it for you to see, because I can't see the camera well enough. But there's still a lot of meat here. I mean, you can see how thick the bridge is, you know, from the top up. Still a lot of meat right there. So, but we're not going to go that route this time. Not going to shave the bridge. Here's another look at the inside the joint there. I think you can see those shims. There's one there on that side, and one on that side, if I can get the light to hit it. Yeah, I think you can see that. A shim right here and right here. They did that to make the neck joint fit tighter, make the neck fit tighter. Or they may have done it to center, get their center point. That's very important that you maintain, keep the neck in the very center of the body. You know what I mean? And what I always do is tie a string, well not always, but usually, to the tail block back here, the strap thing. And just run a string up the thing, either that or use the laser level. You see me use that before, might use that or string, I don't know, but run it all the way up the neck and center the very tip of the up here. Make sure it's in the center of the second or the third and fourth strings. Just watch it down the neck, make sure you stay dead center. That's probably what those strips are for, that and making the thing fit tighter in there, as I said. It just needs to dry out. It's had a lot to drink recently over the years, and it just needs to take some time and dry out now. So I'm going to send it to rehab for about a week. As soon as it dries out and I'm able to start work on it, I will. And I'll bring you along for the ride. Thanks for watching, folks. Cheers to you. And I'll see you then. Hold on. Ooh, the boogity bop. So I just couldn't stand putting this thing away and putting it in the corner with that gaping big open cut we had here. So here's what I did. Let me get where I can see the camera. You can see this tiny piece of wood right here, just a little splinter of wood right there. Right there. See them? I just shaved off a little piece of wood to fit tightly into that crack. And I filled the crack with glue, and there you can see there's no more crack there now. Now once that glue sets up and dries, and after all this thing dries out, of course I'll take a chisel and go over that, smooth that out a little bit here on this end too. It's not bad, but smooth it out with a chisel, and then the glue of course will help hold that. I won't have to worry so much about this thing breaking under tension now. I wasn't really worried about it before, but you want that to be as stable as it can possibly be, and that's one crack that is no longer there. That little tiny sliver of wood right there fixed that. So cheers to you. Whoo, the boogity pop. I'll see you again, man.